twalalanda kufunda bantu balekyo kupatana umayanda pamachitone mitundo yonse palamute mwanu umayanda pamachitone mitundo yonse palamute mwane kubechi potene sasa palamute mwane kubechi potene sasa.
Ilanda musa selo ya chiko utwala pawingi alatona ula uteken saka anechi kankala abantu bose mchalo echo batabila echibemba ilanda musa selo ya chiko utwala pawingi alatona ula uteken saka anechi kankala abantu bose mchalo echo batabila
Good evening, Zambia. Good morning, good afternoon, depending where you're joining us this evening. This is Frank Saliki, and this is Thursday Night Motivation on TV Bakwetu. I hope you're all having a wonderful week in everything that you've been doing. I hope it's been a productive week for you. I hope it's been a week that you've been able to work on the things that matter to you, the things that are important to you. I always say it's important that we're working on developing ourselves, developing our skills. I wrote this stat yesterday in one of the books that I'm reading at the moment that kind of quite scared me a little bit. It said, you know what, an average person lives until they're about 79 years old. And the author of the book says that's about 29,000 hours. Now, that doesn't feel like a lot. That doesn't feel like 79 and a half years. So at the time that we've got to do the things that we want on earth is limited. So it's important that we're doing the things that matter to us, the things that gives us joy, the thing that gives us what we really want. And somebody said, I think it was a great Les Brown who said, you know what, if we don't work on the things that matter to us, we're not going to have the things that we want. And if we don't have the things that we want, we're never going to be happy. And if we're not happy, what is the point of life altogether? That's the joy of life, being able to work on ourselves and being able to develop ourselves. And that's why I'm into personal development. That's why I'm a life coach today. That's why I'm a minister today, because I understand the importance of working on the things that matter to us. Now, this evening, I want to talk about something that is very important. So we want to be successful, but so many people want things now. I want to be successful and I want it now. Everything that I want, I'm going to work on. I want it to be a success right now. And so many people are so impatient, they never give the time for the seed of success to grow. They plant the seed and they watch it and they want it to come out immediately. And if it does not come out immediately, what happens? Oh no, this is not working. I'm going to move on to something else. So then you get people who move from one job to another, or do one business to another, or plant one seed after the other, hoping that the next seed is going to give them instant results. A few weeks ago, I did a topic on instant gratification. I want it now. If I don't get it now, then it's not worth it. I wrote my book, Arise and Shine, in 2017. It was published. Now, that was a 10-year journey from me failing my high school exams, from me setting a goal to go to university and actually making it and graduating and learning difficult experiences. All of that required one keyword, which I'm going to emphasize on this evening: patience. Patience is so important if we're going to be successful. So many people get impatient when they don't see the results that they want. They get impatient when they don't get the results that they expected. A friend of mine rang me once and said, I found this wonderful life coaching course. It looks amazing. So I said, if you're that excited and you feel really good about it and it's going to give you the things that you want, go on, sign up for it. 3 weeks later, he rang me and said, I found this exciting business coaching course. It's absolutely amazing. You know what? I'm going to give up on that life coaching course. I'm going to do this business coaching course. Oh, okay. Now then, 3 months later, he rings me. I found this course. It's a combination of business and life coaching. It's so good. It's 18 months. We're 18 months on. Do you want to give a guess what course he's doing? None of them. Why? Because they never gave him the results that he needed straight away. He looked at these opportunities, but then when he started, he was not seeing the results very quickly. He moved on to one thing to another, and in the end, never ended up finishing anything because they didn't have the patience to be successful, the patience to put the hours in, the patience to do the work in. Everything that we do, everything that you are ever going to do in life, if you're ever going to be successful, will require patience. Because I'm going to warn you, there's going to be moments in your journey when things are just not going to work out. There are going to be moments in your journey when things will just not be moving forward. No matter what you do, it's just going to feel like nothing is moving forward. That is a moment that majority of people give up on this journey because the things are not moving they're not moving as quickly as they expected them to. But this is a point where successful people know that it's part of the journey, so it's part of the process. Now, I talk a lot about my journey from failing high school to graduating to university. Was every bit of the journey exciting? No. There were bits of a journey where I cried myself to sleep. There were bits of the journey when I asked, why am I doing what I'm doing? There's a bit of the journey when I looked at other people who did not go to university and had jobs in the supermarket and they were having a great time and they had money to spend. And I thought to myself, why can't I just go and do what they're doing? This is tough. This is hard work. Why can't I just go and do what they're doing? Because they seem to be having a lot of fun. Now, my friends, this is what I'm going to tell you. Having a goal to be successful is not fun. This is serious talk. This is no child. This is not child's play. This is not child's play. If you want me to, if you're expecting this evening, I'm going to say, hello, look, it's great. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to go and work on your dreams and the people are going to stay out of the way. No, people are never going to stay out of your way. There are people who are going to tell you you're not good enough. You can't do this, go and do that and the other. There are times when it's going to be difficult. For me on my journey to be where I am today, there were times I've had to go through depression. I've had to go through anxiety. I've stood I've stood on top of the bridge and considered taking my own life. And I understand when I say you can do whatever you want to do with your life, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying it's simple. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's going to be this wonderful journey that you go on. What I want to emphasize on you is tough, but at the end, it's worth it. It is tough, but at the end, it is worth it. When I was 16, I was a high school failure. Overcoming the difficulties, 8 years later, at the age of 24, I owned my own house. Overcoming and being patient in learning and developing and in growing. I was speaking to a young man who was saying to me a few years ago after my presentation, he said, you know what, I would like to speak like you. I would like to have the confidence to be able to speak like you. And I'm saying, you know what, once upon a time, I didn't have the confidence to speak in front of people. Once upon a time, I didn't have the confidence to deliver. Once upon a time, I didn't have the confidence to deliver a speech in front of senior managers. I'm able to do the things that I do today because of continuous learning, because of years and years of learning, years and years of practicing, being able to work on myself, being able to develop my skill, even when nothing is happening, even when there are no opportunities. My mentor, Les Brown, always says this. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared for it. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared for it. You know, so many young people, they say this and they say to me, you know what, I'll only work harder if I know there's opportunity. And I always say, why do you have to wait for the opportunity to be there in the city that you're living in the organization that you're working in? Why can't you just work on that skill yourself so that if the opportunity comes somewhere else, you'll be prepared for it? Being patient, my friend, is so important. I see when it comes to, so I said at 24, I had my own house. Okay, sounds great. But that also meant I wasn't doing a lot of things that people my age were doing. When people started earning a bit of money at the age of 18 on part-time jobs, for them, it was time to spend. For them, it was time to party. For me, it was time to save for the future. It was a time everybody was talking about how difficult it was for young people to get on a property ladder. And I thought to myself, what if I just start saving right away? What if I just start saving right away? And thank goodness for that. My wife, the woman who's now my wife, was doing the exact same thing. So by the time we were 24, we were able to afford the house. Why? Because along the way, we gave up sacrifices. So many people want everything and they want everything now. There's certain things that we want to have. I can't have them. There's certain things I would like to buy. I can't buy them. When our little bundle of joy, my little boy Alexander, arrived in July, it changes everything. All of a sudden now I've got all the formula to buy. So then I have to adjust how I spend my money. I have to adjust how I'm spending everything because now I've got an extra mouth to feed. So then how do I grow and get to where I want to be? I know what my financial goals, I know what my dream goals are. So then I start adjusting. Maybe we're not going to take as much takeaway as we used to. Probably I'm not going to buy as much coffee as I go to my office as I used to. I adjust. So you live according to your means. Being patient means living according to your means. Okay? If you get paid and by the 10th of the month you've got no money, but for those first 10 days you're buying Hungry Lion every day, maybe it's time to adjust. Maybe it's time to say, I've got no money by the 10th, but the first 10 days of the month I'm buying Hungry Lion. I need to adjust. I will buy Hungry Lion every day once I can afford to buy Hungry Lion every day. I will spend extra money once I can afford to spend extra money. But for now, I've got to save for the future. So many people, it's funny, when we're talking about success, what is interesting for me is, and this I mentioned about this a few weeks ago. When somebody see what I do, when I talk about my books, when I talk about my speeches, when I talk about the things that I've gone through and the things that I do today, one thing that makes me sad about our young Zambian people is nobody messages me and says, "Can you teach me what you know?" Okay? Nobody says, "Can you teach me what you know?" People always say, "Can you help me with this and the other?" Nobody wants to learn what I know. Nobody wants to know what I've gone through to be here. Nobody wants to know what techniques are used to overcome obstacles. When you become patient, those are the questions that you start asking. There's American life coach Tony Robbins. He says something that is very important. He says the quality of the question that you ask will determine the quality of your life and the quality of your answer. Instead of going, why am I going through this? Or why is that person achieving all those things? You ask yourself, what can I learn from that person? What can I learn from this experience? Being able to understand, but there's certain things you're only going to achieve them by experiencing certain things in your life. What would be the point of me being a motivational speaker sitting here this evening if I did not have a difficult childhood? What would be the point of me sitting here if I did not have a difficult past? So in everything that we do, my friends, is understanding that it's learning to be patient, to be learn from our experiences, to be learn from life. Patient people are always learning. Patient people are always learning. So you go through an experience. So many people go through experience and never even get to ask, what does this experience mean? What do I need to change in my life? What do I need to adjust? Is there something that I'm doing that is giving me these results? Someone just said, what's the glory without hard work? Absolutely. What is glory without hard work? What is glory without hard work? And my friends, in all that you do, success doesn't come in a year's time. You know, people make New Year's resolutions and they give up. There's something that they realize very quickly is that what they need to achieve, they can't achieve that year anyway. If you're going to be in this line of success, you've got to be in it for a long haul. If you're in this business of trying to change your life, you're going to be in for a long haul. The news, my friends, is no matter how much you desire change in your life, no matter how much you desire things to be better tonight, tomorrow they won't be. That's just the fact of life, and that's why the very few people who will go the extra mile, because you get that feeling in your stomach. You say life can change, life can be better, but tomorrow things are just exactly the same. Because your desire to change your life does not change your current circumstance. If you had 10 kwacha in your pocket, no matter how motivated you feel, no matter how strong the will to change your life is tonight, tomorrow you will have 10 kwacha. That's the reality. If you just opened your wallet and said, you know what, I've got no money in my wallet, no matter how much you desire to change your life tomorrow, you will not have money in your wallet. That's the reality of it. That is the reality of it. Things won't change tomorrow. Things will not change tomorrow. How wonderful would it be if things changed tomorrow? How wonderful. And I always think to myself, why is it that so many young people never think of, they go into business and very quickly they leave? Because it's tough. Because something that most business people will tell you about, failing. There's no business person out there who's ever not failed at business. Okay, there's no businessman, no businesswoman out there who started a business and become successful and never made a single mistake. It's hard work. So often we see the result of what somebody has been doing behind closed doors. When I come and sit on TV Bakwetu every Thursday night, this is not 2 days worth of work. This is the work I've been doing. I made a decision to become a motivation speaker in 2015. I'd been a minister in my church since 2009 when I was 19 years old. So from that point on, the work began. From that point on, the work began. Okay? So if you are 30 now, if you're 30, 31, 32, I'll be 32 in November. I want you to think about this way. You might look at where you are right now in your life and think, you know what, I don't feel great where I am. I don't feel like I'm getting great results where I am in life at the moment. What I want to remind you is, you are here, you're where you are right now, simply because of the actions that you've been taking in the last 10 years. Listen to that. You are where you are right now simply because of the actions that you have patiently been taking in the last 10 years. Whether these actions are productive or unproductive, at the end of the day, you're where you are right now simply because of the actions that you've been taking. Now, somebody will say, you know what? You don't know what I've gone through. You don't know what my circumstances are. It's not what happens to you that determines your success. It's what you do despite of what happens to you that determines your success. A friend of mine who was raped says this to me. She says, I could have said I'm a victim. By the way, I'm not underplaying anyone who's gone through this difficult experience. I'm giving an example. She says to me, every time, I'm not underplaying what I went through. It's very, very difficult. But we've all got a choice to go on a journey to change it. We're not going to change everything tomorrow. We can change it step by step, step by step, until we reach a point where we're confident enough to do what needs to be done. Okay, until we reach a point where we can do what needs to be done. We're given the power to ourselves, the power to choose our own journey, the power to go away from instant gratification. Instead of I'm going to buy the latest clothes, I'm going to put it away for the future. Instead of I want to buy the next wonderful wristwatch that my friend has got, I'm going to put that away for the future. You know, I've been lucky enough. I've never been in a position where I've got one pair of shoes and that's all I have got, and I'm walking around with that one pair of shoes and it's completely finished. But I know people who sacrifice so much. I had a friend of mine who would sit there and he'll have everything worn out. And he says, you know what, the time will come when I'll be able to afford to buy the clothes that I want. Today he runs a successful business, and that's been 12 years of him not having these wonderful things that we were all having. Do you know what? When we invited him to go out for food anywhere, he wouldn't even come out for food because he was saving for the future. And he said, you know what? At the moment, I can't afford to come out and spend £6 because I am saving for the future. I can't afford that at the moment. And it reached a point where he was able to do the things that he wants to do when the things that when he wants them to do. I can tell you what, he's so successful, he can book a plane tomorrow and go anywhere in the world because of all the work that he has done. But when people see him now, they look at him for what he has and they want the things that he has without doing the work that went into it. And I always say to people when they say, I want to speak like you, I always say, are you prepared to face what I faced to be here? Are you prepared to face what I faced to be here? I remember when I began my motivational speaking journey, there were people who were coming on my Facebook page and they were just really there to just make fun of what I was doing. I was beginning this journey and people were laughing. And I said to people, you know what? You have to be prepared to get up and go and do the things that matter to you, even when there's the whole world laughing at you. And this is where patience come in. And you have to remember, you don't have to be great to get started. You have to get started to become great. And sometimes people will laugh at you. That's just a fact of life. And I can tell you, it's not everybody who turns in to Thursday Night Motivation with Frank and think, I'm inspired. There are people who make fun of what I still do today. But I know the journey more than I've walked this journey and I understand this journey. And in all that I do, I say, you know what? I've signed the contract. I'm prepared to deal with that. Because my friend, the little world laughed. The little world laughed when the Wright brothers said, you know what? We're going to make a plane that's going to fly, when all the top engineers in the world had failed to do that. The little world laughed when Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. The little world laughed when Frank Saliki, the high school failure, said on the day he failed his high school exam, said, I'm going to go to university in 6 years' time. The little world laughed. And you know what? The little world even laughed even louder when this same high school failure even dreamed of having his own book. The little world laughed. Do you know what? I did graduate from university. And you know what? I did write my own book. Do you know what? I did inspire a lot of other people around to do what is great. But all of that required patience. The world was watching what I was doing. But I just put my head down and did what needed to be done. Patience, my friend, is a key. If you know farmers, they don't go to the farm, plant something today and tomorrow. They have to go there and water and water, fertilize and take the weeds out. And that's a continuous process until one day they've got their crop. Until one day they've got their crop, and until one day they're harvesting the hard work. My friends, today it might look like you're not really getting the rewards of your hard work. It might feel like you've worked so hard, but you're not seeing the results of the things that you're doing. This evening, I want to let you know that the work that you've been doing is not in vain. The work that you've been doing, you've been taking a step closer to the things that matter to you, to the things that you want. Things will not happen now, but the time will come when you'll be able to reap from what you are sowing right now. Let's step away from doing the things. Let's step away from doing the things that are going to hold us from doing the things that matter to us. Let's stop looking for quick solutions. A wonderful life will only come about if we go out there with an attitude that says, I'm in this for a long haul. I'm going to go out there and discover what my life can be. I'm going to go out there and do what needs to be done so that I can take my life to a new level. Stop trying to find quick fixes. Stop trying to find quick fixes for everything. I want you to go out there with an attitude that says, I want to build a better future for me. Yes, today might not have been great. And tomorrow might not be great either. And the other day might not be great either. But I'm going to stay in the game because I know that one day things will get better. I know that one day things will get better. I can promise you this. Nothing can ever take away from your genius. Nothing can ever take you away from your greatness. What most people don't know when you look at me is that I've got a visual impairment. I've got an eye condition called nystagmus. And this eye condition affects me in a lot of ways. And I've had to be patient to work out about what's my eye condition. What can I do? What can I do well? And you know that sometimes I'll send an email and I'll misspell something. The next day when my eyesight is great, I'll have a look at that thinking, oops. But one thing I've learned is I'm allowed to make some mistakes and learn from them. I've also learned that it's more important to learn from other people's mistakes so that I don't get to make them and learn. Patient people do something that a lot of people never do, and that is learning. When you start every journey, the one thing that you need to do more often is learn. So many people don't succeed simply because they never learn. So many people who could be doing so many great things have never seen the success that their talents could bring because they haven't got the patience to learn. So you have to go out there, determined to transform your life, determined to change your destiny. That patiently I'm going to walk, patiently I'm going to walk with confidence that I can transform my life, that I can get great things in my life. And you know that you do. In the words of in the words of my mentor, the great Les Brown, I leave this with you. If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, and if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, if you gladly fret for it and plan for it and lose your terror of your position for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope and confidence, and stand pertinacity, if neither cold, poverty, famish of God, sickness of body and brain can keep you away from the things that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God, you will get it. God bless you. God bless our country. And God bless your dream. Remember, in all that you do, you're designed for accomplishment. You're engineered for success. and you're endowed with a seed of greatness. This is Frank Saliki with Frank Thursday Night Motivation with Frank on TV Bakwetu. You have a wonderful, wonderful evening in all that you do. Go out there, be an inspiration to somebody, be an inspiration to yourself, work on your dream, be patient, and things will fall into place for you. Rome was not built in one day. Go and do what you are born to do. Remember, in all that you do, you are born to win. Bye-bye for now.